those you know are very critical to the success of building your national system. They need to be involved from the onset. So based on the requirements that you develop, of course, getting what you're already doing in a manual process and translating those into electronic processes, we then move on to developing the blueprints and the process diagrams. So you detail related into a flow type of blueprint that can be submitted to the technical teams to have a basis to develop your national system. Then how do we build the national system? Other countries choose to develop their systems in-house. For example, as Zambia, we used to do that and we were able to develop our system in-house. But if the country sees the need to outsource their development, they can reach out to SADC, who can avail expertise to help them develop their national system. SADC has a catalog of experts from different country, and you feel that they are capable of developing or help you to develop your national system, you can choose and engage those experts and submit those blueprints and process diagrams to help you develop your national system. So, collaboration is a very key aspect in the development of a national system. You want to have a national system which comes from someone external, because they know the best efficient ways to do something. So if they are involved from the onset, they also get to feel a sense of ownership of the process that you are developing for them. So there is a sense of having the system being accepted even at the time it's reaching its phases of completion. We'll move on to the next slide. So if we have our stakeholders involved throughout the process, we will avoid most of these risks where we have a misaligned system because we didn't get a chance to hear from our stakeholders. Probably the system may be delayed because you have this constant back and forth where you are delivering something which does not meet your stakeholders' expectations. You get into issues of scope creep where you don't know how much you should do for that project. It keeps growing and growing and growing. Then there's loss of trust and buy-in because if your stakeholders are not involved, they don't know what you're doing, or you're promising them something and they don't have any input or say about it. So they don't feel a sense of trust in the process that you're doing. Eventually you end in the process because it is not delivering what is expected of it. It may also damage the reputation of the system and also the trust in what is expected to do. as I indicated earlier, to miss out on certain innovations which can only be obtained from the stakeholders, which if they were involved in the first place, you would have got a lot of ways to achieve something in the most efficient way. You also tend to lose out on time and resources if we do not have that collaboration in place. We can move on to the next slide. So moving on to how we integrate with other member states. So remember, in the first place, we are talking about having a national system already established. If we don't have a national system in place, we cannot integrate, because how else are you going to communicate with another country if you don't have a national system? So the way we integrate with national systems is, if in the first place we have our own national system established, then we can leverage these technologies which we are calling web services. So a web service in the simplest term is a way applications communicate with each other over a network using standardized protocols. So there are a wide range of protocols available, especially now that we can leverage. But for the sake of this integration, we'll just discuss two. We have a SOAP there, which means Simple Object Access Protocol, and we have the RESTful services using JSON. So SOAP is a protocol that was developed by Microsoft, and it relies on for message formatting, and it works on HTTP and HTTPS. So HTTP and HTTPS is just a way for you to access a service over the internet using a web browser. Where you have HTTP, you're accessing a service over the internet, but it's not secured. But where you have HTTPS, you're accessing a service over the internet, but in a secured manner. That's what the S is for in the acronym there. So an example of a SOAP message is something that would look like that. For those who are tech savvy, they have a close idea of what that means. So with a standard for message for data exchange or integration, what we are simply saying is, for example, let me give an analogy of someone applying for a job. When you're applying for a job, there is a standard that you follow. You need to have a CV and a resume submitted, and they are all structured in a certain way that will be accepted by the HR personnel. If you send a text to an HR personnel that you're applying for a job, they reject it and they will not take you seriously. But if you follow the format that you should send your CV and your resume in a structured way that is accepted, they will consider that application. You cannot choose to just use your own method to establish a communication with another party. There should be an established standard that you should follow. And with applications that are communicating over the internet, these are some of the standards that we follow. There is, as I've indicated, the SOAP and the rest for using JSON. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages that we see with our SOAP way of exchanging. So it's a proven technology. It's got a strong security reliability, and it's been used across multiple systems over a long time. Exchange. It's not only used for exchanging information, it is used in a wide range of platforms. Emails also use this. Other people choose to use this as a way of saving their information. it's got a wide range of usage that you can apply it for. So it also follows an established contract for you to use this messaging or exchange format. Like I indicated in my analogy about a CV and a resume, you have a specific structure that you have to write this message when you are doing the exchange between two parties. You do not just establish your own standard and choose it to send the way you want. You have to conform to a certain standard when doing this exchange of information. Then it's accepted across a various range of platforms. You don't have to all use iPhones for you to exchange information with SOAP. You do not all need to be using a Windows operating system. It is accepted across various platforms. Looking at the disadvantages there, it is robust and complex. When you're exchanging information over this technology, sometimes the way it will render issues when you are doing the exchange process may not be very easy to interpret for those people supporting the language. So if there's a break or technical issue, sometimes it can be very difficult to resolve the issue if the person supporting is not very tech savvy on that technology. And if the information being exchanged over this technology is too bulky, it can seem to be very slow. But I would like to encourage you that with the exchange of ECOO information, we do not really send information that can clog down this system. So this technology is introduction of the integration of the ECOO. We can move on to the next slide. So the other technology that we may consider is the JSON-based technology. Also similar to the SOAP, it also has a structured way of using it. Again, you have to conform to the standards already established. So that's how, that's a small example of how information can be exchanged using this technology. Again, it works over the internet, and it's a simplified way for various applications to talk to each other. So moving on to the next slide. So the advantages of this one also is it's very simple and human readable. If you compare, can you just go back to the previous slide? The previous one? If you compare the data set there where I have an ID, a name, and an email, then I'll ask us again to just go back to an earlier slide where there's SOAP. Let's go back again. We can go back another step back again. Okay, so if you compare this message and the one on the JSON, you will see that with the SOAP one, there is too much detail that you have to provide for the exchange to happen. But if we can go back to where we were on the JSON one. Yes, if you compare those two messages, you need to have more information on the other one as compared to this one. So this one is more modern over the other one because it allows you to transfer or exchange data in a simplified way, which is human readable, compared to the other one, which is a bit more complex. that's why we have those advantages there of it being simple and readable. It is lightweight and fast. It can transfer widely. Pardon those disadvantages there. I think they are wrongly placed. They don't apply to the one I was looking at. So I mentioned, I think was not widely accepted then. So currently the SADC interface when implementing the integration conforms with the SOAP messaging format. But I think moving forward with this SADC of doing the integration, of course, we can leverage the JSON, which I've also indicated, and other platforms may also be considered because there are quite a wide range of them. Now, the slide we're looking at here speaks with exchange formats with regard to the information that we exchange. So, like I already established in my earlier discussion, we need to have an established standard of how the information we're exchanging should be presented. So you will see that we need our data sets to have a name, a type, and a constraint, the size, and the description. And there's also the WC or ID, which allows us to conform to the international standards when we're doing the data exchange. We can move on to the next slide. So continuing on the exchange formats, we have these rules that apply to that information that we're explaining. So where we have an indication of a capital A, we are saying we accept any information that contains an alphabet character from A to Z, including the hyphens and the underscores. Where we have an attribute labeled as AN, we are saying we accept any characters within the alphabet. There might be a mix of small letters and capital letters, as well as numbers from 0 to 9 can be accepted in that data set. Where we have small letter n and a small letter A and N, we are saying each particular data set that we're exchanging should be presented. The next slide. Then we also have the aspect of constraints within the information that we're sharing. Certain information that is being shared is not mandatory, so it will be marked as optional, and that's what the O signifies. Where we have an indication of M, this is a mandatory field, and when information is being shared, it should always be provided for. Then there's certain information that when we're exchanging is conditional based on certain criteria that are checked by the business rules. So it's a field that can be provided for if it meets certain conditions. Then where we have marked a field as X, we are saying it should be excluded and should not be provided for in the exchange process. D there indicates a disabled field. Where we have a disabled field, these are fields which are not entered by a human, but they're generated by the system. Then we have a hidden field there, which is also generated by the system and can never be seen from an officer or user's perspective. So that's with the data exchange format. There's a PDF which was shared, which has now the detailed information of what we've discussed. So if we can switch to that, then we can just quickly run through what all these things mean from the information format perspective. So while in that slide, that document, we're going to look at the information that is expected from what we are sharing in perspective of the ECOO. What information do we expect to share with another country in the ECOO dataset? And that's what we will be looking at. So we can just slowly slide, go down. Message control header. Mostly this will be technical stuff, so I'll just quickly run through it. The message header there allows the changing parties of what message is being received. If we have, for example, a 9, we know that we're receiving an ECOO for the first time in the 18 member state in the integration process. Then let's scroll down. Okay, just there. So now here, this is where we detail the actual information that we need to see in the message that we receive from the ECOO information. So you'll see there that we have the ECOO number, the country of origin, the country of destination, exporter code, exporter name, exporter address, consignee name, all those fields. So these represent the information that is shared from, say if Angola is sending ECO information to Zambia, they need to provide for all this information that is listed in that table. And if you remember, those constraints we are discussing on whether they are mandatory or optional, we also provide for an indication in there. So while we have a marking of M, all that information when Angola is sending to Zambia should be provided for. Where we have O, it is optional, they may choose to provide or not provide. Then again, we have a column there. Remember those ANs and those letters were describes what kind of information can be entered in those fields. We can scroll down slightly. So it provides a comprehensive set of all the possible information that can be sent to so we have indicated all the possible data sets, and if you scroll down, go to the section where there's XML, sample XML. So, given that concerning ECO information will look like that to indicate that it's a SADC ECOO and they indicate the exporter code. So this exporter code is the code for the exporter who is registered in the national system. Then we have the name, their address. If you scroll down slightly again, scroll down, we've got the transport information, how the exporter is sending or being transported, whether it's on road or it's on sea. We have all the transport details indicated there. Then scroll down again. We have a section there now where we indicate the consignment. So the consignment there indicates the product that is being sent to the other country. We have a description. So basically, this is how a structure of a SOP message will look. And if the country has done the due diligence of implementing their national system very well, they'll be able to interpret this message in their own system, and they'll have the information saved in their system about the ECOO. So from a high level, I would like to end here, and thank you for your attention. If there are any questions, I'm free to answer.
Todo this é contigo. Na verdade, só algumas pessoas que tem aqui, não todos nós, incluindo eu. O senhor então, espero que os colegas que vão trabalhar com esta matéria tenham como estava a dizer, não sei se temos algumas perguntas por aqui na plataforma. Doutor, tenha bondade. Estamos com o problema do micro aqui. Se pode nos ajudar.
Bom dia. Meu nome é Regras De Sadc. Aqui o engenheiro fez uma série de apresentação. Eu tenho aqui assim um padrão, um padrão de relacionamento entre os sistemas, que, no meu ver, também é essencial para nós harmonizar os serviços. Se nós estamos numa zona, o que faz o B é essencial que o Z faz para haver uma coordenação de muitos desvios. Sugere para os membros, para ver se ele está aqui, porque é o perito que entende, percebe especificamente o que é que ele tem como visão que possa trouxe aqui na mesa. Essa é a primeira questão. A segunda questão é relativamente o sistema sempre X ML que ela apresentou. Se nós estamos cá, é para observar o máximo de informação e o que é que a Angola também tem que seguir obrigatoriamente. Eu acho que isso foi aprovado segundo o que nós estamos aqui. Com base na apresentação, uma simulação agora do sistema lá. Eu sou exportador angolano, quero exportar fertilizantes para a mídia do Congo. Poderíamos aqui fazer aqui um estudo de caso, tá? Pelo menos para termos a sensibilidade de como é que é, em vez de dizer que aquela informação é exclusiva só para alguns técnicos, mas pelo menos nós estamos aqui na sala, estamos ávidos de ter alguma coisa concreta, não é muito no sono. Então, o técnico está aí, pelo menos vamos já com um exemplo. Fizemos A, B, C, D, agora vamos para um caso prático. Exemplo, Angola. Como Angola para Namíbia, Angola para a África do Sul. Pelo menos aqui saímos com um dado com. Obrigado.
Bom dia a todos. Jorge Mendonça é o meu nome. Primeiramente gostava de parabenizar o engenheiro pela apresentação. Depois dizer que o engenheiro falou dos sistemas SWAP e JSON. Portanto, eu gostava de saber se esses dois sistemas o que eu pude perceber é que os dois sistemas funcionam com a ligação à internet. Nas nossas realidades, o operador econômico que não tiver, ou seja, tem acesso à internet, mas não tem o telefone digital, por este telemóvel consegue. Os sistemas conseguem interagir com o sistema